Hello, friends. It's Chris Angel coming at you for another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. Today we're talking about golf. Marketing is like golf. Years ago, the first time I played golf was middle school. My friend Eric and his family, we went to their beach place, and there was a 9-hole course, and it was the first time I ever played golf, and I loved it. Something about it just came naturally to me, and I decided that I wanted to play golf, so I did. I played in high school. I actually went to college, played golf for my school and college. And I had a golf pro. It was funny, in high school, I would go to the driving range and people would try to give me advice. People that weren't a golf pro, just people hitting golf balls next to me on the mat next to me, and they would want to give me advice, and I would just kind of politely and humor them, and then go on my merry way. But here's what I noticed about that. The human brain can't take a ton of correction. If every golf swing that I take, you're wanting to give me the next set of instructions, I will get all in my head and I won't be able to focus on any one thing you tell me. So there is an art to practicing. There's an art to practicing golf, and that is to have somebody who knows, not just knows golf and not just knows the fundamentals of golf, but knows your golf swing. I really valued my golf swing, my golf coach in high school, because he knew my swing. And so if I was slicing the ball or drawing the ball, snap hooking the ball, he could tell me why, and because he knew my swing. And he could see if my grip was off, or if he could see how I was taking the club back. He just had really accurate perspective because he knew my swing. And I remember he would just say okay, hit another one. And I'd say, well, what am I doing? And he'd be like, well, just hit another golf ball. And so I'd hit another ball, and he'd say, okay, hit another one. So I keep hitting golf balls. And he would stand on the side of me. So if I'm standing to hit the ball, he would stand over here in front of on the side of me, and he would watch 5 or 10 balls. And then he'd go stand behind me, and he'd watch 5 or 10 balls from there, and he'd go stand sort of in between those two spots on a diagonal, and he'd watch me from there. And he would just watch me hit 10, 20, 40 golf balls without any instruction, no feedback, and he would just watch. And what he was looking for were patterns. He was trying to isolate what it was that was happening before he gave me feedback. And it was so smart. It was very wise, because then when he gave me something, he would give me one thing to work on. He's like, okay, here's what I want you to do. Just change your grip this much. It would just barely tweak my grip. Okay, now do that. And I'd be like, that feels really weird. He's like, yep. So now hit 50 golf balls that way. So he would watch my golf swing over and over and over again, looking for the pattern, looking for the thing that would make the biggest difference, so that he could communicate to me very simply one thing to tweak, and so I wouldn't get in my head with 50 things. The amateurs who want to give you all sorts of advice are like, okay, do this, now do this, then do this, then do that. And sometimes I think when we in marketing, in business, we hire coaches or we look for books, and we want as much input and feedback as we can get. But the problem becomes we get overwhelmed with all the pieces of advice that we've consumed. And so like a golfer who has been given a different piece of advice every single swing gets paralyzed by all the advice, we in marketing get paralyzed by all the advice as well. My son picked up golf. My son's 14 right now. He picked up golf 4 or 5 years ago. We would go to the driving range. And when he was a kid, I didn't give him a ton of things to think about. I would be like, okay, today we're just working on your grip. This is what I want your grip to do. Now just swing the club however you want to swing the club, and keep your grip this way. And he would hit shots that weren't great. They would flop off the tee. He would hit the dirt and nothing would happen. He didn't hit the ball. But as we built over time, right, I just knew that we would come back to the driving range and we could work on something else, and then we'd work on something else. And I was building a swing in him. I was building his swing from the ground up. And in your marketing, you have to build your content and your marketing from the ground up. So many of you want to go out and just get all the advice you can in one sitting, so that when you're done reading that book, or you're done listening to that podcast, or you're done hiring that coach for 5 sessions, that you're some marketing genius. It doesn't work like that. Marketing is like golf. You need repetition after repetition after repetition, because we're building something. We're not just building an ad, we're building your message. Do you know behind everything in marketing is your message and what you stand for? The reason people choose to work with you and not other people is because of what you stand for. and how you articulate what you stand for. But if you don't have enough repetitions in articulating what you stand for, then people won't know what you stand for, and so they'll go hire somebody else. The thing we're building in you, like when people come through my programs, what we're building, we start with the message. Your message is like your grip. The grip is the foundation of a golf swing. It is where I start every time. If somebody were going to hire me to help them with their golf swing, we always start with the grip. It's the foundation. In marketing, the foundation of your marketing is your message. It's your message. Because until you get that right, everything else is just some hack you read in a magazine, right? Like I remember subscribing to some golf magazine when I was a kid, and they would always have these articles about how to chip and how to do everything. And so from an article, I would try to read it and then go do it. And I had like 50 things in my head about how to chip. It made no, like it's a terrible way to build a golf swing. And you trying to build your marketing foundation by all the different podcasts you read or listen to and books you read and all that stuff is a terrible way to build a foundation for marketing. Because it doesn't mean that people sharing it with you are not a good source. It's just a bad way to build a foundation, because what you do is you then take all the things you heard and you try to build a marketing strategy from all of it, which is weird. Like it's not a great way to build a marketing campaign or strategy. At the heart of everything in marketing is your message. And in order for you to get good at your message, you have to do lots and lots of messages. So here's the action item for you. If you want to put this into practice, right? You need to just go do video after video after video after video after video. And they're going to suck, and they're going to suck, and they're going to suck. Like my son on the driving range who would flub the ground all the time, and maybe 1 out of 100 shots when he was 9, he hit a good shot. And now that he's 14, his shots are like 80 or 90 shots out of 100 are good shots. But you have to start somewhere, right? You have to start somewhere. And if you want to accelerate the results you get, then you want to start to find a swing coach, if you will, right? Like somebody who knows your swing. Not just somebody who can give you advice, but somebody who spends the time to get to know you, sees your patterns, and then can give you advice when something doesn't go right. They've watched your swing, right? They've watched your swing enough, or they've listened to your message enough in your marketing, if they're a marketing coach, to give you very specific, not overwhelming, and easy to implement feedback so that you can actually produce the result you're trying to produce. If you're interested in that kind of relationship with someone, I have a program that's what we do, right? It starts at the Marketing for the Rest of Us course. That's a free course, which gives you a taste test of what the 6-week intensive program with me is like. The 6-week intensive program is called the Groundswell Method Intensive. And that's what we do, right? For 6 weeks, we're creating content, we're honing your message, and we're getting repetitions on the driving range over and over and over again. And I'm watching and I'm watching and I'm watching so that I can give you feedback. What happens for people when they come out of that program is they feel, they go from at the beginning of the course, usually feeling like they're not confident in their message, and they don't like the way they look on video, or how it's cumbersome and clunky and doesn't feel good. By the end of 6 short weeks, they're feeling inspired by their message and confident in going live on videos. Why? Not because I filled their head with a ton of advice. It's because I walked them through some very specific distinctions and frameworks in order to help them produce confident videos on purpose. And that, friends, becomes the entire foundation for the rest of your marketing strategies, whether it's Facebook ads or email campaigns or speaking gigs or networking, whatever it is, it all comes from the foundation of your message. So if you'd like to learn more about that, I would recommend you go to Marketing for the Rest of Us, the course, at groundswellmethod.com. And it's just over 90 minutes, 5 videos. You can get done with it tonight. And if it's interesting to you, you can actually apply for the next 6-week intensive coming up. Okay. So thanks for hanging out with me in this episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. Until tomorrow when we go live again, have a great evening.